What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Menzuo Series Book Club. I am Keyshawn Dawes, the best-selling author of the Menzuo series, and today is the beginning of a new phase for me and also for you. I'm going to be introducing every chapter of every book that I've created. So I want to make sure that you guys see this journey with me. The first book I'll be tackling is Menzuo, The Calling of the Sun Prince. Once we're done with that book, we're going to jump right into book 2, Menzuo, The Legend of the Blue Diamond. Then we're going to go right to book 3, Menzuo, Judgment Set Upon Earth. Following that, we're going to jump right into Menzuo, A Warrior's Destiny. And last but not least, my newest book and bestseller, Menzuo, Friend or Foe. Starting with the first book, Menzuo, The Calling of the Sun Prince, I'm going to read one chapter every week. But this is not just going to be me reading to you. You're going to be able to follow it visually. And what I mean by following it visually, you just have to see. So buckle up, strap in, subscribe, and get ready for the journey. Chapter 1, His Arrival. April 16, 2018 was the day he was found on the doorstep of an orphanage in Seattle, Washington. Miss Susan Meeks opened the door that afternoon and noticed him wrapped in a bundle of towels, lying comfortably in a basket with a note attached to it. She picked it up and read it to herself. It stated, "To whom it may concern, please take good care of my son Jamal. He is very special to me, and he will be as special to your world. He is very exceptional and is only looking to be raised like any normal child would. I hope that whoever is with him on this planet will love and care for him like he deserves. Also, please be very careful with whom he comes in contact with. If the wrong people come into his life while he is not prepared, it could be very bad for him and for your world. Therefore, once again, be very careful with who comes into his life. Thank you, and take good care of Jamal. P.S. Do not remove his necklace. It is the key to his future." The letter wasn't signed by anyone. Miss Meeks balled it up and shoved it into her pocket. She shook her head. That was a very strange letter. I wonder what that was all about, she said to herself as she looked down at the baby. She took a deep breath. Special, huh? I wonder what's so special about you. Jamal looked at her with a bright smile. Miss Meeks couldn't resist the fact that he was such a beautiful baby. She picked him up and smiled back. As soon as she did, Jamal's mouth opened as wide as it could get, and without warning, he spit up all over her blouse. Goodness gracious, little man. You can really pack a lot of food in you. Jamal started to laugh as Miss Meeks took him inside of the orphanage. She walked into the lobby holding the new baby. She was going to introduce him to the rest of the kids. Hey, everyone. I have someone I would like you to meet. All of the children turned around and saw the baby in Miss Meeks' hands. Say hello to little Jamal. The kids jumped up and ran over to them. One little girl looked into his eyes. Oh, he's so small and cute, she said. Yeah, he looks like a teddy bear, another kid said. Jamal was a hit at the orphanage. All of the kids instantly fell in love with him, and so did Miss Meeks. After all of the introductions were made, Miss Meeks took Jamal into the bedroom that was close to hers. The room was empty and was reserved only for infants who came into the orphanage. Since Jamal was the only one in the orphanage, the entire room was his. When Miss Meeks was in the room, she gently placed Jamal into the crib. Okay, honey, you'll be just fine in here. I have to go to my office for a minute. I'll be right back, okay? She said with a smile on her face. Jamal lay quietly in the crib as she walked out of the room. Miss Meeks placed a folder onto her desk and put new child papers in it. As soon as she had the pen on the paper, every space on the forms was instantly filled in. Her eyes opened wide. As she looked the papers over, the baby's birth date was marked April 16, 2018, and only his first name was written on the top of the page. In every other space, where a specific answer was needed, the words "not available" appeared. Miss Meeks couldn't believe what she was looking at. She continuously eyed the papers, shaking her head in disbelief. I must be dreaming. This couldn't ever have happened, she said. After a few minutes, she took a deep breath to gather herself and close the folder. Miss Meeks thought about the time of day. She must have been very tired. That was the only explanation that she could come up with that would make any sense of what she had just witnessed. Confused and thinking she was seriously overworked, Miss Meeks got up and walked back to the room where Jamal was. The orphanage had finally quieted down for the evening. Miss Meeks knew that this would be the perfect opportunity for her to get acquainted with her new resident. As soon as she looked into the crib, she saw Jamal smiling back at her. "Aw, aren't you just the sweetest thing? Every time you look at me, you smile. It just makes me want to pick you up and hug you so tight, but I won't even dare to do that because you might just make another mess on me." As she continued to look at the beautiful baby, Miss Meeks spotted the necklace that was around his neck. It was a silver necklace with a shiny stone hanging from it. The stone looked like the shape of a teardrop. She studied it for a while and suddenly remembered the letter that she had shoved into her pocket. She pulled it out and read it again. The last part of the letter really grabbed her attention. P.S. Do not remove his necklace. It is the key to his future. She was very curious, but also confused by the postscript. She looked back at Jamal as he lay calm in the crib. What does that mean? The key to your future? Miss Meeks couldn't help herself. She had to know what was so important about the baby's necklace. She reached for it. As she did, the stone brightened. She didn't know what was happening, so she pulled her hand away. The light in the stone gradually faded. What in the world was that? She said as she focused on it again. She wanted to figure out what was happening, so this time she reached for the stone and touched it. As soon as she made contact with it, the stone lit up again and became very hot, burning the palm of her hand. Miss Meeks jumped back, releasing the stone. Ow! Ouch! She shouted as she started to blow on her hand to cool it off. That was hot! The light from the stone glowed brighter as she waved her hand around, trying to get rid of the pain. It instantly illuminated the entire room, making Miss Meeks forget about her injury. Many different colors flashed off of the ceiling. As the light dimmed, a face appeared just above the crib. The eyes from the face were looking directly at Miss Meeks. Hello, young lady of Earth, the face spoke in a very deep voice. I am Menzuo's father, Menzuo. I am the king of planet Yardania. We are a friendly planet, and we are the protectors of all existing planets within our universe. Miss Meeks was frozen in her place as she looked at King Menzuo's face floating over the crib. Not one word could make it out of her mouth. As her legs grew weak, she sat down in a chair next to the crib, never taking her eyes off of the king. King Menzuo spoke again, taking note of the shock on Miss Meeks' face. Do not worry, young lady. I am not here to harm you. I am here to tell you why I need your help. Miss Meeks, still unable to speak, worked up enough nerve to nod, letting King Menzuo know that she was paying attention. The king continued, My son, Menzuo, has been sent to planet Earth to protect it from an evil pirate warrior that has been sent here to take it over and enslave the entire human race. Upon hearing that, Miss Meeks was finally able to break her silence. So how is he supposed to protect Earth? He's just a baby. I understand that, King Zentrua responded. You are not in any immediate danger. The pirate warrior cannot take over Earth until Menzuo is destroyed. Miss Meeks was now afraid for the baby's life. I cannot let anything happen to him. It would truly break my heart if someone or something hurt this child. I couldn't live with myself. Menzuo cannot be found by the pirate warrior as of yet. When I sent him to Earth, I placed a protective force field around him that will last until his age of destiny, which is 12 Earth years. His age of destiny? What is that? Miss Meeks asked, still in a state of confusion. At the age of 12, Menzuo will have the honor of fighting for Earth's safety. By his 12th birthday, he will be fully ready to take on this task. And hopefully, he will succeed. If he does, he will be Earth's true protector. Miss Meeks started to rub her head, hoping to clear her mind as she looked at the king. So what does all of this have to do with me? He looked at her very seriously. What I need from you is to make sure that Menzuo lives a normal life on planet Earth. He cannot know anything about where he is from or what his destiny is until the time is right. If he finds out anything about his true destiny, my protective barrier will be broken, and all of the evil that is on your planet will find him and make sure that he never breathes again. Miss Meek's mouth dropped to the floor. Well, that's just great news. I have a little superhero who some evil pirate warriors from outer space want to destroy. My life can't get any better than this. She placed her hands onto her temples. And what am I supposed to do? Beat these things up and save the world until this baby is old enough to do it for himself? She said sarcastically. Keeping a serious look on his face, King Zentrua answered her. No, not at all. As long as you keep him safe until his age of destiny, your world will be fine. She looked around the room, then back at King Zentrua, a very unsure expression on her face. You may not know this, but this is an orphanage. I can't do anything if he's adopted. How am I going to be able to keep him safe then? King Zentrua looked down into the crib. I trust that you will be able to find Prince Menzuo a great home. As I read your energy, I can tell that you are the best person on this planet who I can trust to make that a reality. Miss Meek stood from the seat and looked into the crib. Jamal was lying as calm as ever as she reached down and stroked his head. I will do my best to make sure that this child will have the best parents any could would want. I mean, it is a lot of responsibility to keep this planet and this baby safe. King Zentrua smiled. Thank you, young lady of Earth. I know that I can trust you with my son's safety. I know that he is in great hands. Miss Meeks looked at King Zentrua without blinking. She still couldn't believe what was happening. Is there anything else that I should be aware of? She said, stuttering. Yes, there is, King Zentrua answered. In a short time, Menzuo's protector will be joining him. But how will I know who it is? Miss Meeks asked. You will know, young lady of Earth. You will know. King Zentrua's face faded from the ceiling. As it did, the light that accompanied it faded as well. Miss Meek's heart was racing as she looked down into the crib. Boy, oh boy, what in the world did you get me into? She fell back into the chair, still dazed and confused. All of the excitement made her fall asleep. She needed to rest. The next morning, the door to the infant room opened, and there stood Mr. Collins, Miss Meek's co-worker. He walked over to her, still sleeping in the chair. Miss Meeks, wake up, he said gently, shaking her from the slumber. Miss Meeks popped up, and her eyes were wide open. Oh my goodness! Did I sleep here all night? she asked in a groggy voice. Mr. Collins nodded and let Miss Meeks gather herself. He looked into the crib. Well, I heard there was a new visitor. I was hoping to sneak a peek at him this morning. While Mr. Collins was looking in the crib, Miss Meeks was very busy trying to figure out if everything that occurred last night had been real. She rubbed her eyes and stretched her arms. As she did, she noticed a sparkling light on the ceiling and a smiling face looking down on her. It disappeared. Miss Meek's eyes widened and her mouth dropped. Oh my goodness, it was real! Mr. Collins turned around and looked at her, very confused. What was that? What's real? She looked at him. Huh? Oh, nothing. I'm just trying to wake myself up, that's all. Mr. Collins stood next to the crib, puzzled, but thought that perhaps Miss Meeks was waking from a weird dream. As soon as Jamal's eyes opened, he saw Mr. Collins hanging over the crib. The wide smile and eyes of the stranger triggered the loudest cry imaginable from this baby. Oh, wow! Miss Meeks shouted as she covered her ears. That's the first time I've heard him cry. Mr. Collins covered his ears as well. Well, it's not a pleasant sound. He's got some serious lungs in that baby. Miss Meeks made her way over to the crib and picked up Jamal, whispering in his ear. She tried her best to calm him down. Hush, baby, hush. It's okay. Shh. Mr. Collins headed to the door. Well, I guess I'll leave. I can't take this screaming anymore. I'll see you downstairs. Oh, by the way, there is a young couple downstairs. I think they are looking to adopt a child. Mr. Collins hurriedly closed the door and made his way down the stairs. As soon as Jamal saw that Mr. Collins was gone, he stopped crying. Miss Meeks continued to soothe him. It's okay, Jamal. You must be hungry. I'll get you some milk. How does that sound? Jamal smiled as Miss Meeks placed him back into the crib. In an instant, he went back to sleep. Miss Meeks sighed happily, knowing that she could ease the little baby. She made her way out of the room and locked the door so that no one could disturb him. Then she went down the stairs to meet the couple. Ah, here she is, Mr. Collins said, pointing to Miss Meeks. Hello, ma'am. My name's Stephen, and this is my wife, Crystal. They shook hands. Nice to meet you both. Why don't you come to my office so that we can get better acquainted? Miss Meeks replied. Stephen and Crystal followed her into the office and sat down, ready to talk. Miss Meeks asked a few basic get-to-know-you questions to get a feel of the couple. As they answered her, she found out many interesting things about them. She learned that Stephen was a lawyer and that Crystal was an elementary school teacher. They were a young couple, both in their late 20s, and had been married for 4 years. After a while of chatting, Miss Meeks finally got to the point. Well, okay, what can I help you two with today? Stephen and Crystal looked at each other, then back at Miss Meeks. Well, we tried to have kids on our own, but we found out just a few months ago that it isn't going to be possible, Stephen said in a sad tone. So that was when we both decided that we would adopt, Crystal said. Miss Meeks looked at the both of them. She felt very comfortable in their presence. As she studied them, a great idea popped into her head. Well, I think that I have just what you both need. Stephen and Crystal's faces lit up. Miss Meeks moved away from her desk and walked out of the office. Crystal leaned over to her husband. Stephen, I hope that she's right. Stephen kissed Crystal on the forehead. Well, honey, if God wants us to have a child, I believe He will provide us with one. He gave his wife a loving hug. A short while later, Miss Meeks walked back into the office, holding Jamal and a bottle of milk. Here he is. Crystal took one look at him and instantly fell in love with the little baby. Oh my goodness, he's so cute. What's his name? His name is Jamal. He just arrived yesterday. His paperwork is finished as best it can be. No one even knows he's here. Miss Meeks held Jamal out in front of Crystal. Why don't you hold him? She carefully placed the baby into Crystal's arms. Crystal held him close so that he could see her and Stephen's face. Hello, little guy, Stephen said in a soft voice. Jamal took one look at the both of them and smiled. I guess he likes you too. Here, Crystal, why don't you feed him? He seems too comfortable to move, Miss Meeks said as she handed Crystal the bottle. Gulp, gulp, gulp. Jamal sucked down half of the bottle in no time. Wow! He must have been very hungry, Stephen said, chuckling. He eats just like I do. As Miss Meeks watched the couple hold and feed Jamal, she remembered the conversation with King Zensuo. She felt in her heart that Stephen and Crystal would be the best parents that Jamal could ever have. The time flew by as the Halls sat with baby Jamal. After a couple of hours of playing and talking with him, Stephen and Crystal came to a decision. Miss Meeks, is it possible that Jamal could come home with us? I mean, we've already fallen in love with him, Stephen said, his eyes wide. Miss Meeks crossed her arms as she watched Jamal rest so comfortably in Crystal's care. Well, like I said, no one knows that he's here, and you know the demand for newborn babies is unbelievable. Stephen and Crystal both nodded as the smiles left their face. Miss Meeks opened her desk and pulled out a folder. If you guys can fill these papers out and return them to me by Wednesday, I'll do my best to push the background check through immediately. From there, I will personally conduct a home study, and then we can discuss the cost of adoption. If you can get this done, I'll make sure that you will be able to take Jamal home by Friday. Crystal started to cry. The thought of being a parent was a dream come true. She looked over at her husband, who was sitting in a chair next to her, just as happy. I can't believe this. We're finally going to have a baby? Tears of joy were streaming down her cheeks. Stephen kissed Crystal softly, and she gave Jamal back to Miss Meeks. I'm glad to make such a young couple happy, Miss Meeks said. Stephen stood and shook her hand. Thank you, Miss Meeks. I'll have these papers completed and back to you tomorrow. Crystal stood up next to Stephen and wiped the tears from her face. We'll see you on Friday, honey, she said to Jamal. Then Friday it is, Miss Meeks replied. Crystal grabbed hold of Stephen. We are going to be parents. I can't believe this. Stephen hugged her back. Let's get home and take care of these papers. As they walked towards the door, Stephen turned to Crystal. We have to buy all types of baby things. I wasn't prepared for this. We need crib, towels, diapers, wipes. Crystal shook her head and chuckled. Okay, Daddy. Let's take care of one thing at a time. Paperwork first. Then we can concentrate on baby-proofing the house. Stephen chuckled. You're right. I guess I'm just really excited about being a father. He looked up at the ceiling. Thank you, God. Thank you. They both walked out of the orphanage and headed home. Jamal kicked his legs and smiled at Miss Meeks while he got comfortable in the crib. Miss Meeks sat with him for a while and watched him as he relaxed. As he did, she studied the little baby boy and wondered about his home planet and also about the dangers that he would encounter when he grew older. She quietly prayed for Jamal's safety and also for his new parents. As she did, she was instantly filled with joy. She knew that she made the right decision for the little protector. Later that afternoon, Miss Meeks took Jamal down to the kitchen, where all of the other children were. As soon as the doors opened, all of the kids' faces lit up. Look, everyone, one of the kids shouted. He's here! One of the older kids walked over to Miss Meeks and Jamal. How's he doing, Miss Meeks? He looks happy. He's doing fine. I think he really likes being around you guys. He's smiling and kicking his legs like he wants to play, she said. But the smile on her face quickly left. Unfortunately, baby Jamal would not be here with us much longer. A nice young couple was ready to adopt him. He will be leaving on Friday. Wow, that was fast, a little girl said as she sat in the kitchen table. He just arrived the other day. That must be some kind of record. Most of the children's faces suddenly lost their smiles, and the sense of happiness left the room. It was quiet in the kitchen for a while until one of the older boys jumped out of his chair. A big smile plastered on his face. Hey, that's great news, he shouted. At least we have the rest of the week to spend with the little guy. Let's make this the best week ever for him. All of the kids stood and started to cheer. Yeah, that's right. Let's have some fun, another kid said. The kids finished their lunch and ran into the living room to do their daily chores. They wanted the rest of the afternoon free so that they could play with the baby. The rest of the week went by fast. The kids enjoyed having Jamal around. They loved taking care of him and watching him when Miss Meeks was too tired to do so. He was a part of their family. The boys and girls took turns playing with him. He loved to be around them, especially when the boys played football and soccer in the yard. He would giggle and kick his legs when they ran around chasing each other. Miss Meeks watched him while he looked at the kids. She wondered if he wanted to get out there and play along with them. When the girls had their turn, they loved to play dress up with him. They made Jamal try on all types of baby clothes. Some of the clothes looked really silly, and some of the other ones were very cute. Jamal enjoyed himself just as much with the girls as he did with the boys. He had no worries. He was just a happy baby with many friends around him. On the last night that Jamal was in the orphanage, Miss Meeks decided to sleep in the bedroom with him. She sat in the chair next to the crib and rocked him in her arms. Well, little buddy, I guess you're leaving tomorrow. Your new parents have done what they were supposed to do with the paperwork, and they are so ready to take you home with them. As she spoke, Jamal played with her necklace. Oh, you like my necklace? Well, you have one too, but your necklace is a link to your home planet, and I hope that it will never be lost. Jamal cuddled up close to Miss Meeks as she continued to rock him to sleep. While he continued to play with her necklace, she started to tell him a story. There once was a child who no one knew. Not even Miss Meeks knew what he was up to. He had arrived in a basket with a smile that would brighten a room for a long, long while. His name was Jamal, as people knew him. But now he shall sleep and rest his mind and leave all of the worries of protecting the world behind. She smiled at him as his eyes looked to the ceiling. As soon as Miss Meeks looked up, a small bright light fell from the ceiling and floated down towards the both of them. She didn't say a word. The light made her squint, and she tried her best to block out the brightness. Jamal's eyes were wider than ever, and his smile stretched clear across his face as the light came closer. Miss Meeks was finally able to look at the light without blinking. She wasn't afraid. The ball of light gave her a sense of comfort. As the bright ball floated in front of the both of them, a voice came from it. Hello. Hello. And who might you be? Miss Meeks asked. I am Solar. I am the guardian of the Sun Prince. I will be the one who will give Prince Menzuo his strength throughout his battles. Prince Menzuo and I are linked together forever, Solar said. His voice echoed slightly from the light. He paused as he floated just above Miss Meek's head, then continued. You are Miss Meeks, Prince Menzuo's Earth Guardian. King Zensual made a great choice when he chose you for that duty. Miss Meeks smiled. Well, thank you, Solar. I am honored to be on this journey with you. Please, tell me how you are going to give Prince Menzuo, his strength to fight. The energy that I possess can only be used for good and for the protection of both your planet and Prince Menzuo's life. But I also must warn you, in the near future, your planet will inherit some other beings that are outside of my knowledge of known evil. They will attack a place known as Hero City. My only knowledge is that they will be known as dark spores. I am not sure how powerful they will be, but I do know they will test the human race. Hero City? That used to be Chicago, Illinois, Miss Meeks said. That city is in the Midwest and it's pretty far from here. Then you and our prince are in no immediate danger. For now, you must make sure that he stays as far away from there as possible. Prince Menzuo will have enough on his hands in due time. I understand, and I will do my best to keep Menzuo guarded from Hero City at all costs, Miss Meeks responded while taking a deep breath. She let it out slowly as she spoke. I'm really happy that he will have you to protect him, Solar. King Zensual did tell me that there will be a time when Prince Menzuo has to be ready to protect the planet. But in my state of being shocked, I kind of forgot when that time will be. Solar floated to be eye level with Miss Meeks. It is okay. I know that this has been much for you to take in. Menzuo's destiny will not start for another 12 years. He will have a very peaceful life, and he will be able to stay hidden until then. When the time comes, I will be there to help guide him through life. And with my help, this will make your job much easier. Miss Meek smiled. Well, thank you for that information. It is an honor to have met you, Solar. Solar moved and floated just above Jamal. As he did, the baby reached up and touched him. The warmth from Solar's energy field was very relaxing. Jamal quickly fell asleep in Miss Meek's arms. Just sleep, my prince. Solar moved in front of Miss Meeks. It is now time for me to go inside of the stone. It will be my home. It was nice to meet you as well, Miss Meeks. We will be in contact with each other throughout the years. I will keep you informed as to Prince Menzuo's growth, Solar said. He slowly floated into the stone. As he became situated, the bright light started to change colors, lighting up the room once again. Miss Meeks could not take her eyes off of the glowing colors. It seemed as if a miniature world was being built inside of the stone. After a few seconds, the light faded. By that time, Miss Meeks wasn't shocked or afraid of what might happen next. It only seemed natural that the Prince of the Sun would have company. She felt honored that she held the responsibility of being Jamal's Earth Guardian. As she gathered her thoughts, Miss Meeks took note of Jamal's limp body lying comfortably in her arms. She gently placed him in the crib. Well, my little prince, you have a busy day tomorrow. You're going home with your new family. Rest up and good night. She kissed him on the forehead and sat back in the chair. Soon after, she was asleep as well.